Alright, I'm back with another video at long last, and this one's going to be me giving my thoughts on all the Razer stuff I have and use on a daily basis. A lot of people love Razer, a lot of people hate them, but I'm going to give my perspective as someone who's used a lot of their products for many years. But before I get into it, I just want to say a few things. So the first thing is I would recommend doing your own research before buying any of these things. And when I say that, I mean like beyond this video, I would look at other people's videos to make sure that you are getting something that you would actually want to use, just so that if you happen to get something and you don't like it, you don't have to go through the process of trying to return it. And then the second thing is that I'm not an affiliate with Razer. I have no connection with them. I'm not sponsored by them or anything. So this is just going to be my raw take for what I think of their products with no bias included into it. But with all that said, let's get into it. Alright, so first up is the Razer Bungee V2. I've had mine for around 2 years now, almost 3. I play mostly FPS games, which I think it would really come in handy then. I also play games like League, which I also think it might come in handy in that situation. But if the wire of your mouse doesn't get snagged or doesn't get caught very much, then it's probably not worth it for you to get it. It's just like an extra precaution for if you need to like throw your mouse across your mouse pad and you don't want the wire to sort of get in the way, then it might be worth it for you. But for bungees, it's really a comparison between Razer and Zowie and Glorious, and then there are other no-name brands, but it's mostly just the three. And then Rocket Jump Ninja actually already made a video comparing this bungee with, I forget if he compared it with the Zowie or the Glorious. But you should go check that out, which I'll link in the description. But he does a pretty detailed review of this thing, and I think that it's been pretty solid for what it's meant to be used for, which is just like making sure that your wire doesn't go all over the place. I will say though, this is the V2. If you do plan on getting one of these, I would recommend getting the V3 just because it costs the same and it's probably better. Or you can just go the flex route and get the V3 Chroma because, you know, why not in that case. But other than that, it's been pretty solid, and I expect it to last several more years just because I don't put any like kind of pressure on it or anything. Or maybe I'll just switch to a wireless mouse, who knows. But for now, it's good, and hopefully it'll last for another couple of years. Alright, so this is the Razer Seiren X. I'm just going to preface this by saying that I can't really recommend this mic because of a couple of issues that I had with it. So the first one isn't actually an issue, but it's the price point. So this thing is $100 at retail price, which is kind of crazy for what this thing offers. And I actually got it on sale, and I think that the sale price that I got it at is still pretty expensive. But besides the price point, the other issue, one of which is when I tried to record it using it in OBS, I came across a helicopter sound, which made it unusable to record with, which is why I wanted to record this video with this mic, but I can't because of this helicopter issue. So that's one of the things. And then the second thing is that whenever I use like Discord or Zoom, there would sometimes be this static noise, which a lot of microphones will experience, but this one is like pretty often. And I've never had this issue with the mic I'm currently using, which is a 5-fine mic. But having to deal with these issues and having to solve these issues, which I actually didn't end up doing because like a lot of other people had these issues, but they also didn't really get it resolved. So I don't think that with the price point and for what you're getting, it's worth, even if it's on sale. You could honestly get a better quality 5-fine mic for a lot cheaper. Mine is the K669B, which I'll link below, which I bought for $40, but if you buy it right now, it's going to be around $35, or it's going to be under $40 for you, tax included. The two things that I will say this mic has that are like, don't really necessarily make it outcast, but makes it like somewhat better. So the first thing is the mute button, which is right here. And if you plug this in, like, this will be red, and then it's gonna be green, and if you want to mute it, it's gonna be red, I'm pretty sure. And then also the volume knob is really nice to have. And then the other thing is the audio jack, which is right there. No, you can see it. But if you are looking for a microphone with speakers or like that kind of headphone jack, then like this one has it. But I don't think that these features are worth it, considering the problems that you might come across. Also, I don't know why this is a thing, but for some reason this microphone's volume knob does not have like an indicator on it. So like you can turn it like either way, but with pretty much every 5-fine mic, it has a volume indicator on it. So yeah, I'm not sure why this one doesn't have an indicator on it. And maybe the mute button is a deal breaker for you, not sure. But overall, it's for what you're getting, I don't think it's worth it. Yeah, I had the Blackwidow in the background, which I'll get to right now. But for the mic, you can get a better 5-fine mic, or even a decent dynamic mic for how much you're gonna pay for this. But yeah, it's you can still get it and potentially come across the same issues that I have, but I just wouldn't recommend it because there's no need, especially when there are better mics out there. Another note is the packaging. So this is the cable that it comes with. It's a standard like micro USB to USB-A, which the cable's fine, but the way they bundle this up is with this thing, this like flimsy piece of rubber, and I've tried to like bundle this cable up with this piece of rubber like several times, and I've only been able to get it once, because it's just so difficult. Like you have to really keep this thing tight, and you have to wrap this rubber thing around it if you want to like travel with this mic, or if you want to like disconnect it and not have to like wrap this cable around the mic itself. The Razer Blackwidow has a Velcro tie included with it, which is like really nice, and I'm not really sure why the Seiren doesn't have that Velcro tie. But yeah, that's another thing about this, is that it comes with a flimsy piece of rubber to keep the cable tied up. Alright, so this is the Blackwidow Chroma Chroma V2, which is what you saw in the background for giving my thoughts on the mic. I've actually only been using this for a couple months, and the reason why I used this is because of this keyboard. So this is the Blackwidow Tournament Edition, like the regular one. This is from 2016. So I used it for about 4 or 5 years until recently, which is a couple months ago, when I was in the middle of a league game and the Q key died on me during the league game, so that was pretty unfortunate. But since then I just transferred to this thing. But yeah, it's been pretty good so far. Pretty much the same thing as the regular Blackwidow Tournament Edition, except it's chroma or RGB. This one is yellow switches, and this one was orange switches. I like them both, but I think I like the yellow switches a little bit better. But yeah, they're both nice. They both sound good. The yellow ones are pretty similar to red switches. I think that yellows are have a slight more bump to them than red switches. And then the orange switches are similar to browns. But right now, this thing retails at, I believe it's $90. I got it for a little cheaper, but I probably wouldn't recommend buying this keyboard unless it's on sale, just because I think that you can get something better for $90, or I would just go the extra mile and get a higher quality keyboard for $100. Because if you can afford this thing for $90, you could probably afford something that's $100 or even a little bit more. But $70 is a decent price for this thing, I think. But I'll also provide a typing test for this thing. I can't provide it for the regular one because the Q keys, I could provide it if I didn't have any cues to write, but you can look up another video to test to see what orange switches sound like. But yeah, I'll give you a sound test right now on the yellow switches. Alright, last up is the Razer Viper wired version, 16 key DPI. I've been using this for upcoming about a year, and it's a pretty solid mouse. Probably one of the better ones that Razer has made. It's also the newest one that they've made, besides the Viper Mini. But yeah, it's a pretty good mouse, especially now that it's not $60 like it was before. So it's pretty much $40. It's gonna stay that way, and it's actually not only for me, but I think a lot of people think it's a good mouse because on Amazon it's not even available right now. And if you go to Best Buy, it's also it's available, but you'd have to wait 2 weeks to pick it up or even get it delivered. So I think this in general, it's a pretty solid mouse. It has like those optical switches, which they say is like the fastest switch, but if we're gonna be honest, human reaction time isn't that great, so the switch reaction timing will not really matter for most people. This is commonly compared to the glorious Model O, and before it was like picking this mouse, which had like better features but it was more expensive, but now this mouse is cheaper than the Model O, so I guess like Model O is still a good mouse, but this one's cheaper, and especially if you don't like the honeycomb holes in the Model O, then this one is definitely the way to go. Also, this mouse has adjustable DPI to any DPI setting that you want, up to 5 stages, while the Model O only has 4 set levels. So if you wanted to go like in between the 4 set levels, you couldn't do that. But for this mouse, you can set it to any DPI level you want. That's a big deal to you. This is also, like, you might ask, between this and the Viper Ultimate, so the wireless version. So this is just my opinion, but the Viper Ultimate is a little too expensive, unless you can get it on sale. But like, it retails at around $130, which is just, in my opinion, way too much for a mouse. If it goes down to like under 90, then I think it might be worth it. But over $100, like, it's definitely not. And as you can see, like, I have it wired up to the Bungee as well. So if you have it like this combo, it'll feel very similar to the Viper Ultimate. And like, the Ultimate has a 20k DPI, but like, is anyone really gonna go that high, like, for their mouse? Probably not. But yeah, that's about it. Just a really solid mouse, well built, very light, if you're looking for a very light mouse. But yeah, overall it's pretty good, still going strong. I'm hoping it lasts longer than their keyboards, even though my Blackwidow lasted like 4 or 5 years, so it still lasted a very long time. But I'm hoping this lasts for a long time coming, even though I've already had it for a year. But that's the 4 products I have from Razer. If you have any questions about any of this stuff, you can leave them in the comments. But other than that, thanks for watching, and yeah.